All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Movie Talks and Chill. We're your hosts. I'm Tony Serrato.
I am Gavin Butts.
I'm Patrick Wall.
And this is the post-Halloween episode.
I'm doing so much better.
Yes. It's because you had a Snickers.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You weren't you.
Reese's. I have leftover Halloween candy.
Yes. So in this episode, I'm going to let Gavin explain because this was his idea. So take it away.
So it's still a little bit past Halloween, but I thought it would be something cool, a cool idea for us to have movies that we would turn into horror movies. That we could, make it, in your head, you could take it and make it a slasher. Kids' movies aren't off the table, although I will judge you. But
From wholesome to horrific.
if you ruin Lilo and Stitch for me, I will kill you.
Not Lilo and Stitch, but I do have an idea about a Pixar movie.
Ah, dang it.
Pixar's Cars. Christine version.
The Christine version, yes. Yes. Christine just starts eating all the cars.
Yes.
Before we
So-
get into this, I'm going to have some of my Halloween candy.
Before he gets too terrified. So I kind of pitched the idea of the movie that I was thinking of would be, and it would probably cut down on subsequent movies of it, but John Wick. So taking John Wick and the presence and the ire that he is, and let's just say, in the beginning of the movie, he gets worked over a little bit too bad. Someone finally comes to his house, maybe Aurelio goes over to his house and finds him there, ends up taking him to a hospital, and they take him, to the back end hospitals because, they don't want to get him in front of the police or anything.
Yeah.
And maybe the Russian, gets wants to take a play on his life before he, comes out, and they try to help him, but also, things get mixed around and end up the medication they put him on, he becomes the alpha zombie. And his first feat of rage is to go after the Russian mafia, but then just takes over the whole planet anyway.
There you go.
World War Z with guns.
World War Z, but yes. No, he doesn't have any guns.
Oh.
But he still has all of his karate and everything, and he can't be killed. Because you basically, for the alpha zombie, you have to remove the head. You can't just shoot him in the head. Like, you got to completely sever everything. Because he has, the healing ability, too.
Gavin's coming up with some zombie lore.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
it.
So, it's a little backstory on it, too.
Definitely not ripped right out of, what's that Dave Bautista movie?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Army of Darkness.
Yeah, that one.
Or rather, Army
of the Dead.
of the Dead.
Army of
the
Dead. Army of Darkness is the
Bruce
third
Campbell.
Evil Dead.
Yep.
Yes. I was fixing it. But I have a couple other ideas and stuff too. But gentlemen, what would you think?
You want to take first?
No, you can go first.
Oh, man.
Oh,
'Cause mine's not that fleshed out, but mine just adds a little bit of creepiness to it.
yeah, there you go.
So I'm going to take a swing at something completely different. I'm going to take the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Okay.
Oh,
And we're going to turn it into more of a kind of similar, not like In the Tall Grass, but basically because they're constantly trying to figure out the way to get home. But it's every time they get to something, whether it's a train station or a airport or a bus station, they get looped right back to the beginning of where they're at. So they open up the doors, and then they're like wherever they first met.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
kind of like a psychological time loop for them, but tie in a factor similar to like the Langoliers, where they're having to beat the time loop or else they die.
oh yeah.
And then you add into that, you now also have a spiritual entity that's following them that sucks the souls out of people that are stuck in the time loop if they don't beat it.
Oh.
So like a Dementor
Yeah.
from Harry
So I was
Potter.
about to go there.
So I'm basically taking like
Langoliers.
Harry Potter.
So does anyone have a Patronus charm?
Yes.
I recommend the Stag, but it's a personal choice.
But what it turns out to be, here's the twist though. The big finish ending is that, I don't know which one yet, but one of them is actually the person controlling all this, like the evil
Steve
entity
Martin.
that's
Okay.
controlling
I could see
everything.
Steve Martin pulling off that role.
And the only reason I thought about it is there's that scene in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles when they fall asleep and they wake up, and he's driving the wrong way, and they drive through the two semis, and he looks over, and John Candy's the devil when he sees
Oh,
his
yeah.
head, and he's like, ah! But I think that'd be an interesting thing. Is like they're just trying to get home, nothing's working out, they can't figure out, but instead of them actually getting into a vehicle or something, every time they walk through those doors, they loop right back to where they started out at. So like
I like
maybe
it.
it starts out in the airport.
Right.
Because he even says that he's like, if you think, and what would be a fun thing to do is let them be in the first airplane like they were, but when they get stranded, when they had to force land, I think it was in Wichita, if I remember correctly, in the movie. If you remember, he says, there's no way we're getting out of here tonight, because there's that line that he actually says when he says, and you're not going to find a hotel room. He's like, my what he said. He's like $6 and my right nut says we're not landing in Chicago. But then when they're trying to phone when they get canceled, he's like, we're not getting out of this airport tonight. And he's like, oh, there's no way you're going to find a hotel. So it's like that kind of mentality leading off to, let's throw like a little M. Night Shyamalan in there, like throw a little foreshadowing. So then they cut back to all those scenes like, we're not landing here tonight. You're not finding a hotel. You're not. And then it flashes and he's suddenly this demented devil being or whatever that's
Yeah, he's like
controlling all
looking
this
at him.
stuff.
He's like, why are you upset with me? I told you the whole time that we're not getting out of here.
Yeah.
You knew. I was always up front with you.
And it could be because Steve Martin's trying to get home to, we'll make John Candy the entity because it'd be Steve Martin, he's constantly trying to get home, but you add more backstory to it that Steve Martin's been cheating on his wife while he's been on the road, and this is his penance for it. And so he deserved, like those people who created those sins. If you want to say, maybe they died in the original plane crash. Maybe the plane crashed and he died, and this is like his purgatory, and he's got to figure out a way to redeem himself.
Ooh,
Yep,
like
I think I just rewrote Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. The Stephen King M.
The
Night
Stephen King.
Shyamalan version. I'll
Steven,
flesh it out a little bit better later, but
Steven, give us a call. We got
Yep.
something for you.
M. Night, right here.
Yeah.
Come on.
We can talk about your Shalama Lama Ding Dong.
Steve Martin at one point, he's like, I just want to get home. Oh, you're never getting home.
Oh,
Why? To get back to the wife you were cheating on?
ooh.
Your children have a broken home?
You're just a horny bird, aren't you? Yeah, yes, I am. Well, now you're going to be humped by a horny bird.
So that would be, I'll
Thanks,
flesh it
little
out.
Mikey.
I'll flesh it out a little better. I may have a better version of it for you next week, but that would
Okay.
be an original thought that popped in my head.
So mine involves Toy Story.
Okay.
So
Paranormal Activity made him jaded.
That movie was called The Puppet Master.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
if you watch Toy Story, but just think, you never see any of the, you never see like a Hasbro or Mattel sticker on them. So with all these toys that come to life and have fun, I'm just going to assume that they are, in my version, they are all made by the same company.
Yeah, the same company that made Toy Soldiers.
Yes. Yeah, David Cross put in the experimental weapon ships into Woody and Buzz Lightyear.
That would be Gizmo over here.
Brought to you by Hastel Toys.
But if all the toys were made by the same company, how are all these toys coming to life? So my version of Toy Story is they weren't always toys. They have fragment memories of being alive, having a wife and kids, and then something happens that makes them a toy. So instead of just being wacky fun adventures, like they go to the factory and they find like their unconscious corpses and they have to figure out a way to get their brains back into their bodies, but something happens. I don't know if something's going to happen to the toys or if something's going to happen to the lifeless husk that's over there.
We see everything.
So is it kind of like the Matrix, where they're plugged into this thing, or are
I'm
they
thinking
actually
more like
dead?
Chucky. Like he's
Well, no, okay, all right. So they're dead.
Yeah,
Their bodies are dead.
Their souls and minds have been moved into toys, and they're trying to see if they can get back into their human lives after a while. Whether it's possible or not, I don't know. John Carpenter, call me. We can workshop this.
we can keep marinating.
So watch Puppet Master.
God, no.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Wasn't there? it's like the third one. One of them was like
eight
they started
billion
out
of
as
them.
friends.
Yeah.
Like with whoever was there, like they became friends with the puppets, and that person ended up dying, and then they like go crazy because they have no master. I want to say that was like the third one.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, because the actual I can't remember the guy's name. I think they resurrected him later on.
Okay, yeah.
If I remember correctly, and like one. But there's been so many Puppet Master movies, and then they tied or spun off into other movies. So there was that one puppet that was the Baby Oopsie, and he's now got his own series of films. And there's like 3 or 4
Then
or
they did
5
like,
of them.
they did.
There
the
are 5
Annabelle
Puppet
movie.
Master movies.
5.
And then 6, 7. There are 8.
So I said they just kept going.
I'm starting to believe these missions are possible.
I just had that nightmare about Liam Neeson. At some point, you just got to think he's just a bad father.
I made 3 of those Taken movies. What point do you think he's just a bad father?
What if you had you put a serial killer spin on Couples Retreat?
You'd have Club Dread.
Yeah, basically. Naughty Cal.
Naughty Chris, Naughty Carlos, Naughty Cal.
You haven't seen it.
Nope.
Yep.
What? Couples
Broken
Retreat?
Lizard.
Club Dread.
Oh, no. Yeah, I haven't seen Club Dread.
Broken Lizard's attempt at a horror movie. And it's
Yeah.
basically, pretty funny, but
Yeah. I heard that since they treated Farva so bad in Super Troopers, they made him like a stud in that movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he was a masseuse.
Yeah.
But he'd like just touch someone and they'd like have an orgasm.
Right, yeah. What is that? Down to the heaven point. and yeah, she's like, oh my God, like starts convulsing right there. But he's still Farva. Like
Yeah.
it's like he's still a big guy.
Hey, he's still far away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still fat guy. Just no stash.
Oh, when he can like when they figure out how he gets it out of the window, he's like he can make his body shrink.
Oh yeah.
and the one girl's like, why don't you just do that all the time? What is that, a fat joke?
Yes, I'm trying to think what would be a good change up from a movie to horror. Let's see here.
Well, you could do Lilo and Stitch, and you don't have to change a whole lot. Just get rid of his whole character development arc and just keep him an evil little shit.
Boom, boom, chicken!
I mean, they already did it with Winnie the Pooh.
That they did.
Blood and Honey.
And they're looking to do
Steamboat.
Mickey Mouse, too.
Yeah, the Steamboat.
The Steamboat Willie one. That's the
Uh-huh.
only one that's not in copyright
Yep.
anymore.
See,
Which
I still
I
haven't
don't
seen
know
Blood and
if
Honey,
that's
though.
true anymore because they just released that same version into a video game that may have re-upped the license.
I don't think that's how that works.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm
it's-
not a lawyer either. I just
if
stayed
there's
at
any
Holiday Inn
lawyers out
Express.
there, give us a call and let us know.
Yeah,
Because
please.
you're a lawyer and we are not.
We'll go live to the phones. Shit.
Hello.
Hello, who it is? No, Mr. Superman, no here.
No. You
There we
go
go.
now.
Yeah, Consuela goes on a murderous rampage. She just starts, and no one knows it's her because she gets rid of the bodies with bleach,
Yeah.
dissolves them.
Breaking Bad style.
Hello, welcome to Final Destination Cleaners.
Oh no. Oh no.
What if you had a zombie apocalypse version of Back to the Future?
Oh wow!
Like they did something back in the past that causes a zombie outbreak. 'Cause maybe in the future there's a vaccination of some that they don't have or mutated from their immune system, so they went back, got a cold, sneezed on somebody. They go back to the present, but now it's a zombie apocalypse now that they caused. Now
it
they have to
has
go back.
it has skewed into this tangent.
We can't because if we go back, it's gonna be the point of this time.
But then they go back into the future and everything's fine because they do have the cure. So all they have to do is grab that and then
Actually, those aren't real humans.
yeah.
Changing the past doesn't change the future.
I don't know who's told you that.
But what would that look like? What would the zombie version of Back to the Future look like? Because then, obviously, if they go back to the present, now let's figure if it started in 1955, November 5th, 1955.
And so then it goes back 30 years later.
They go into the future 30 years, so 30 years of a zombie apocalypse. So basically, there's no fuel,
No,
really
all the-
anything.
Yeah.
How do you run the car then? How
All
do you get
the-
the time machine
I
going?
mean,
Just like
basically, just like when you went back in the third one.
yeah.
All the technology that we would have invented, it doesn't exist.
No, it still exists. It still exists, but well, I would say at least some of it exists.
Well, there's a zombie apocalypse happening. We're not really rushing to invent the microwave.
Or maybe we come out and it's like Fallout. Like everything is stuck in the '60s because that's when everything actually ended.
Or here's one, because the one who really actually fixes everything is Doc Brown. Doc Brown was in the 50s. What if he got the virus too, and he's a zombie, so he wouldn't be able to be alive when Marty comes back? So now Marty's got to figure it all out.
And then he's screwed.
Yeah. The movie just fades to black.
Back to the future.
Back to back to brains.
It doesn't turn from Twin Pines Mall to Lone Pines Mall. It turns from Twin Pines Mall to Nuclear Crater.
Yeah, we just nuked ourselves like in Skynet.
But no, think about that. Goes back
Yeah,
just for a quick little visit back. He has a cold, but whatever his immunity is from their timeline, 30 years prior, they didn't have it. It causes a zombie breakout. He goes back. Doc Brown is in there because Doc Brown got the zombie virus and killed. And now he's got to figure out. But now when he goes back, there's no fuel or no available fuel at the time that he can see. He's got to find it. So now he has to dodge zombies
And
while also
find
finding the fuel.
Plutonium.
Well, yeah. If we're talking about the
First
original,
one.
but this would be after the very first. So this would be more like where he can fly and can use
Okay.
Mr. Fusion. So we'll give it a little bit easier on him, but they still need gasoline to run the car because that's
Yeah.
what the whole point of the third one was.
Which is weird because in the beginning of the second one, he starts putting banana peels and
That's
shit in there.
to replace the plutonium
Yeah.
to make the flux capacitor work. I can't believe we're actually having a serious conversation about this, but that's to allow the time machine to work, not the actual car to work.
Okay.
That's why when he went back into 1885 and the arrow struck the fuel line, that's why they
yeah.
couldn't get the car to go. So they had to change to the train.
yeah.
'Cause
The time mechanism, the flux capacitor ran off the
Mr.
other-
Fusion. Yeah. Well, Mr. Fusion after plutonium.
Right.
But yeah, so he's got garbage. We got plenty of garbage, but he needs to find the fuel and also figure out how this actually happened. So he's watching all these like old news articles or finds like old footage, at a library while dodging things. And you could actually make it intriguing that Biff survives, and he needs to help Marty. So kind of give a little Biff redemption.
Okay,
there.
yeah.
See, when you said Biff survives, I was like, oh, he's the king of the wasteland, is he?
Perhaps.
Yeah.
What was the
Not
what was the high
again.
school? Yeah, exactly.
The enchantment under the sea dance.
Was that real manure? No, it wasn't.
Hey, McFly! Great, everybody's a zombie. I get stuck with a butthead. That would be a fun version of Back to the Future. I would watch that.
That is true.
Zemeckis, Spielberg, you got my number.
You got us.
It's 555.
Also,
555.
also TM copyright, that's ours.
That's why we have area codes.
But that would be what it would be called. Back to the Future.
The future. Oh yes, back to the future, huh? Do you like the zombies and the chomp chomp?
Now I'm just picturing the weapons dealer from Beverly Hills Cop.
Well, I care about you. You worry me, and Billy. I want you to have these.
Yeah, jeez. Billy.
I got to use that at an event we went to. So I've got an older car. It's got dents and dings on it. And so Thursday night we went to an event over in Tampa for my boss, and it was valet parking. And I handed my buddy the car keys, and there's like Bentley and Mercedes and all this other crap behind me. And I said, "Hey man, put this somewhere nice, 'cause all this shit happened last time I came here." Dude just busted out laughing.
Park this where you would park your car, not where you
Yeah,
park
right.
other people's cars, man. So what other horror you got in you?
I'm still working on that. Gavin, you had a few locked and loaded. What else you got?
So I wanted to shy away from tarnishing Star Wars any worse than Disney already has. I'm sorry. Was that a dig?
No, not to me. I don't know Disney. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, they're fucking it up nicely. So then I also kind of wanted to think about maybe changing Die Hard
Okay.
to be kind of like almost like a horror movie as well.
How so?
Whereas they're trying to break into Nakatomi, but Nakatomi is actually a warehouse. The reason that it's so rich, or that they believe that there's so much money there, it's a warehouse for monsters.
Okay.
So it's covered up by the agency, and Bruce Willis's character has actually been sent there because his wife doesn't know. It's kind of like an umbrella situation where they've got the company and the company works, and a bunch of people do stuff there, but they don't know what really goes on and why they make so much money. It's like, oh, I'm a secretary. Of course I get $1 million a year. I just don't open my mouth to anybody.
Right? Especially the feds.
But so they come there and they still try to do the ransom. But what happens is, as they're starting to knock down security protocols to get through the vault, they realize that they're breaking into the wrong vault. And things start getting released out of the vault. And so they have to not only contend with Bruce Willis' character John McClane, but they also he has to fight the terrorists and these monsters that are coming out of the dang walls as they start to get released and can wreak hell in the building.
So now I'm just picturing the elevator scene from Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But like the final realization where at the end of the movie is, John McClane's trying to stop them from opening the vault at all. He finally gets his wife and just finds a way out of the building because the building gets put on, government lockdown. Like in, what was that one movie where they had like the rabies
Cujo?
outbreak? No, in the building, and it was like the handy cam movie.
I know what movie you're talking about.
So like by this time the CDC and everything has walled off the building and there's no way really out. So they've got to find a way out. Meanwhile, they're still tunneling into the vault to finally get it, and they open like the treasure trove of all the monsters, and they just start coming out one at a time and like grabbing them. And Alan Rickman is the last one that they take, and they take him to the deep depths. And yes,
All right.
and scene.
And credits.
Roll credits.
So does it have to be just like horror in terms of like monster zombie type stuff, or can it be like suspense?
No, it can be
thriller?
suspenseful, yeah.
So I have a good twist on Grease, I think.
I got chills, they're multiplying.
They called it Grease.
99%
Extra
of the
lightning?
movie does not change. Falling in love at the beach and then doing the drag racing and building the car. Grease lightning, go grease lightning.
Gotcha.
But when they get in the car and they start effectively flying off into space, this is where like the twist comes. She's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe we're going to go on this great adventure." And John Travolta's like, "Yeah, Earth's going to be pretty easy to take over. We should get there in a couple of days. Just sit back and relax." And then credits.
What?
Yep.
So all you did was add like three
Three
lines
lines.
to the movie.
Yep.
I thought you were gonna say like they fly off and then it cuts to like the beginning of Independence Day or something. That's what I thought we were
No,
gonna
it
do.
cuts to the beginning of Battlefield Earth.
Oh god.
Yeah, right?
Now I'm
that
scared.
That made it even worse.
Yeah, no bueno. No bueno.
I like my version better.
I know.
Danny Zuko's looking at John Travolta. I can't remember what his character name is
Yeah.
because I only saw the movie once and I will never watch it again.
Good.
What if you took I Love You Man, and since Peter's trying to find a friend and it's, Jason Segal's character, everything's going normal at first, but, then they go to hang out one night and they're having the drink. Remember, like, they're having the tacos or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
And they're having a couple drinks. Like, no, have one more drink. And he gets and they're going to go outside, and then next thing you know, Peter blacks out, Paul Rudd's character. And he wakes up and it's almost like a Misery type situation.
Okay, I was getting
He's
Misery
like,
vibes.
I was looking for a best friend too, Peter. Now we can be best friends forever. And, just going through, like, some torturous stuff. And,
Yeah.
the girlfriend's looking for him, and she's calling, and he's like, oh, no, he stopped by here the other day, but, he seemed like a weird thing. Like,
He's kind of upset.
he was a little nervous about the marriage. He said he needs time to get something. He's really sorry, but, I'm sure he'll contact you soon. And, he's back there going,
As long as we can recreate the foot scene.
and the best part about it is you do not have to change the title of the movie.
Nope.
No.
I love you, man.
I'm getting Misery mixed with Cable Guy.
Yes. Yes, you are. But then we'd be rid of the iconic line of "You're a whore, Peter."
No, because remember he meets him before Jason Segel.
I know.
So it could still be,
But he
where
doesn't see the two of them out again.
No, but he could see.
Okay.
Well,
Or maybe he calls and is like, "So I see you out already again. Just want to let you know that you're a whore, Peter."
yeah. Every phone call is just him.
Yeah.
It's just him calling. He's like, I really don't understand what happened. It's like, I thought we were having a good time.
We have a great evening.
And you don't call anybody back. Maybe I was having mixed messages. Like, I just got out of a really serious thing, and I thought you were going to be the one, but apparently I'm not. You know what, Peter? You're a whore.
Next day, I was just checking in. I thought I heard my phone.
Don't
ring.
ever call me again.
Yeah, yeah.
Lose my number. Next day.
Yeah.
Hey, Peter.
Hey,
I
I was very harsh yesterday.
was having one of those days. I got my boss. I'm up for a promotion, but this other guy got it. I don't.
Where
really
are
think
you,
he
you little
deserved it.
piggly son of a bitch?
Yeah.
Call me.
And then he runs in, so he can end up killing him. Jason Segel's character, because Jason Segel's going out for whatever reason. He's out and about, just maybe getting some fresh air, and he sees him, and maybe he had seen him with Peter. He's like, "Oh, you're Peter's friend." He's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Yeah, he told me all about you." Blah blah blah. And he's like, "Oh, do you want to have a drink?" He's like, "Yeah, I think I would like to." And then, like, next thing you know, it's like he comes walking in with dragging a body, and Peter's sitting there, and he unzips it. He's like,
He's like, "Oh no, oh, it's my favorite guy."
well, it's Paul Rudd. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
his character in that was very weak.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah.
So, and then Jason Segel could look up to him. He's like, "You really are a whore, Peter." I thought we were best friends, and he's telling me that you guys went out.
Like had a magical evening.
Yeah,
When was the last time we had a magical evening?
and then he
Nope.
knocks him out again.
Yeah.
He injects him with something, and he wakes up, and they're sitting at a candlelight dinner thing. And Jason Segel's now in a dress. Or maybe he puts him in a dress. I don't know, whichever way you want to go with it.
You know what? But they're both in dresses.
Yeah. Yeah, they're both in dresses. Let's just really go with this idea.
Yeah. Oh, that's
I like how
good.
Gavin asked, "When's the last time you two had a magical night?" And it's like, well, the night in Milton sounds like it was pretty magical for you
Yeah.
two.
Well, that was after.
Yeah, the aftermath of
Yeah.
Milton.
It was. Yeah. So magical.
Jaegerfield.
It's very Jaegerfield.
There's some Tito's in there.
Oh yeah, there's some Tito's. Sprinkled in with a little Tito's.
A little chicken pasta salad.
Yeah.
Some chips, some dips. Chains whips.
James Whips.
Candle wax on the nipples.
Standard
A
Saturday.
couple hundred kids dancing in their underwear,
Yes.
acting like complete animals.
Yeah.
Oh, Gary! That was their line from Weird Science.
Yeah.
Chips, dips, chains, whips,
Chains whips.
candle wax on the nipples.
I'm taking him to a party.
Don't mess with me, Al.
Yeah, don't mess with me, Al.
You got it out of line, I'll kick your ass. So, yeah, I Love You, Man.
It does work.
The thriller.
Yeah.
Suspense thriller.
I have an idea, but I don't
Or
know what
maybe
movie
they-
it would fit into.
Maybe they just changed the title a little bit and put a question mark at it. I love you, man. And have Ron Burgundy read the title.
You can't put question marks there.
Damn it! Who
He-
put that on a teleprompter?
He reads it.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
And go fuck yourself, San Diego.
Well, and that could actually be the psychosis for Jason Segal's characters because it goes to the whole back thing. When he was in school, like from a little kid, you know, he'd have his best friend, but then that best friend met up with cooler kids
And they
just
kept
left
leaving
him
him.
hanging.
Yeah.
And as he gets older, it keeps happening over and over again. So now
Oh,
when
yeah.
he finds this new friend who he doesn't realize he's not going to leave him and he has to.
Yeah.
They all leave you, Peter. They all leave. I'm not going to let that happen with you, Peter. I love you, man.
I love you, man.
And then, of course, you know, Paul Rudd's like half tortured and cut up, and he's like, "I'm not gonna leave you. I promise I won't leave you." You will. They all say they won't, and they do, Peter. Don't
Next-
you get that?
Next thing out is the 2x4 and a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
He ain't walking out of here. That's for damn sure.
Well, Paul Rudd finally aged.
I will say though, watching Misery, like you could clearly see that was like a fake plastic and rubber foot, but it's still one of the grossest things I've ever seen.
Well, I read about that when they did that movie. They had to do a whole bunch of. They had to keep redoing it, and it actually Kathy Bates was very bothered by it. Like,
Oh, I
just
bet.
because just trying to do that to someone, even though it was fake. It actually really upset her, but they're like, no, we've got to get the right take. And I think they made her do it like multiple times.
That sucks. And James Caan's just laying in the bed. Yeah, just do it.
At that point, it probably doesn't even have to be him.
Yeah.
Anybody got any
Just be
pizza?
yeah.
Anybody hungry? I feel a little peckish.
Where's
Yeah.
the craft service lady? I can use for
It's just like you just keep seeing the camera, the wobbled foot or the hobbled foot, bam, bam, bam. And he's up there. He's like, oh no.
Oh gosh.
Hey, Kathy,
should try
you
this
gotta
one
try
first.
the sushi.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
James, you have mustard on your face again.
Am I in the shot? No. Well, then
It's not
who
mustard
gives
this
a shit?
time.
It's Grey Poupon.
Yeah.
So you were saying
That's one of the outtakes. It's like, excuse me. Do you have any Grey Poupon?
you said you had an idea, but you weren't sure what movie it fit on.
Yeah.
Into, so tell us the idea, and we'll see if we can.
It was
match
basically
in.
be like a prequel to Tusk. So it was going to be about the guy trying to figure out his experimentations before he finally settles on Justin Long. But I'm trying to figure out a movie to where that would, like, he would have to go through so many bodies.
So you do want to take
Well-
that guy and his experience.
I want to make it like him learning how to do that. Like, just after fighting the walrus on the iceberg and then coming back to land and then, like, you know what I'm going to do? I need to fight that fucker.
So
again.
Tusk, first attempt.
Tusk, the origin story.
Because I mean, if you remember in the movie when Justin Long's in there underneath, like when he's trying to teach him how to swim as a walrus, there's others that are already there.
Yeah, they're all
that are
dead.
Dead, yeah.
So I want to see that movie.
Well,
but I'm
that's
just trying to figure out what movie to turn into that one.
because he's had to move around because Johnny Depp's character, the inspector, did have him at one point in Canada.
Yeah.
In that one spot where he was like the hockey coach or something. And he's like, "Didn't mean a spider?"
I still to this day cannot believe that's Johnny Depp.
I know it's.
If you haven't seen
It's
the
a
movie
whole lot
Tusk,
of, it's a whole lot of makeup
Good
and
for
it's
you.
some very, very good acting.
yeah,
I like when he starts singing. It's the creepiest thing when he's singing the Itsy Bitsy Spider tune.
Yeah.
And just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Itsy Bitsy Spider.
I can't wait for the third one to come out. Not even.
Moose Jaws?
Yeah. But I've heard he is not even filming it yet.
No, he was. I think he just veered off and started doing his other. Like that's what he did, like the 4:30 movie and stuff like that. So
Oh, is that a Kevin Smith film?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
His daughter's in it.
Oh, is she? Mm-hmm. Nice. Because I remember at the end of.
It's the Sugar Wall.
I do remember at the end of Jay and Silent Bob rebooted. She's like, I'm never working for Kevin Smith again. This is garbage.
So what we could do with Tusk? Tusk.
Tusk the prequel. I was trying to think of like buddy movies, and the one that came up, like Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller, they have a lot of them. But I was trying to think of, is there one that
Owen
would work?
Wilson and Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Zoo Crashers.
Zoo Crab.
Wedding Crashers. But Christopher Walken doesn't let him get away with that bullshit, and he's like, "I'm a U.S. senator, and we have a program I would like you to go join up.
Oh dear God.
Reverse Avengers."
I was gonna say what is like what's it called like what is like Baron von Stryker.
Yeah.
Like the X program.
Yeah. Yeah, so Wedding Crashers, but And Christopher Walken is not too happy with Owen Wilson or Vince Vaughn.
I tell you guys, they got a fever. The only prescription is more tusk.
I need more ivory on that man's face.
Wow. You're a walrus.
I mean,
it's crazy.
Guy, you look weird. I want to put like your legs in your mouth.
I could just see him like walking up like, that's more of a seal, not a walrus. Can we do a little bit better? Take 2. Get Owen Wilson in here. Vince Vaughn, you just put him out of here.
Wow, this guy's like a surgeon.
I can't remember what was the psycho's name. What was his name again? Mr. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Look it up.
Yeah, because he was looking for him to interview him for something on
His
their
podcast.
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it had to deal with
Howard
like,
Ho.
Howard Ho.
I think
no,
it had
but
to-
was that his actual character name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Howard, Howe.
Yeah, Howard Ho. Howard. It's crazy.
Howard, like
He looks just like a walrus.
you got a guy here. It's not even a guy anymore. It's like a thing.
Where did you put his thing?
Yeah, where is? I mean, yeah, does he? How does he go? You know,
He's gonna need a bidet. It's crazy.
I mean, Jesus.
Tusk of the beginning.
Tusk of the beginning.
Tusk of the beginning.
I told you to scare him, not like it's like human centipede.
It was basically like a modern day version of like what was that? The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've tried to
kind-
watch that movie. That movie was fucking
It's
weird.
kind
Yeah.
of what Tusk was like, or Howard Ho's character. Welcome to my mansion.
I fused you with some animal parts. I haven't made you a name, Snowball. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
What if you did take the Sleeping Beauty, a Nightmare on Elm Street version, into Sleeping Beauty?
Well, you could probably just go back to the original folk tale about Sleeping Beauty. You know what the story that thing's based on? So the prince doesn't wake her up. He just uses her as a brood sow. He just continuously rapes her and gets heirs.
Awesome. Thanks for that.
I don't think you really need to change anything to make that more fucked up.
Well, no,
Well,
but it's no, but
Sleeping Beauty, the true story.
because I never really watched that one, but was that doesn't he kiss her at the end to wake her up?
Yeah.
Okay.
But in
So-
the original story, the German like grim fairy tale, he doesn't do that.
No.
Yeah, well, they created Krampus too, so.
Be
Hey.
careful about Germany. We've got a lot
Yeah,
of fans
yeah.
over there.
Yeah,
We've got a
yeah.
lot of listeners in Germany, so we are
According
sorry.
to the VPNs.
We're just saying what the story was.
Yeah.
But what you could do is at the end of Sleeping Beauty, like in her mind, she kills Freddy in her dream, whatever happens.
But she ends up having to stay there.
No, but he kisses her, and what happens is when he kisses her, all of a sudden you see the claw come out of her mouth and like just grab him and rip him apart.
Oh.
Like,
Well, that was a unique twist I did not see coming.
Okay.
Bam!
Yeah.
Jesus, I was looking right at you and you still got me. Halloween's over, damn it.
I even did like jazz hands,
These are spirit fingers.
trying to make it fun.
I'm having a Kit Kat.
You sure you don't want a Snickers? Because you're not you when you're hungry.
I don't like Snickers.
You don't like Snickers?
I don't like peanuts in my chocolate.
Okay.
You don't like peanuts in your chocolate?
Nope.
Well then, so
Moving on. Teeth, the second coming.
Fun fact about teeth. A friend of mine who lives in New York City went to go see an off-Broadway show based off that movie.
What?
You know, so she posted it on Instagram. I was like, "Is that anything like the movie?" She's like, "100%." I was like, "That's awesome."
they've been making a lot of movies. Like they have the Toxic Avenger has a Broadway play.
Okay, well, I mean, I could kind of see that. Like, people, had a
Yeah.
good following, but I didn't know there was such a huge following for Teeth that,
Hey, you make anything off Broadway. You already got the script. You really don't have to do much.
this was off Broadway.
Yes. Yeah, man, we're down the street around on the corner of Queens and
Yeah.
Wilshire and whatever else that road is down there.
It's actually in subway number 3. There's a little back room. Don't worry about paying for tickets.
Just follow the scent of urine.
Yeah.
And if old Joe asks you for money, just say no. He'll never stop asking.
Yeah, we don't charge for our show. We just give old Joe $1.
So when we were talking earlier about like, well, on the last episode, when we mentioned that the movie Terrifier. One thing I didn't get to show you. It's not gruesome. Don't worry. I will show you before you leave. There's a new character in the second movie that's like kind of like Art's. He's called Art the Clown, by the way. It's like his little sidekick. If you saw this girl, and so it's a girl. If you saw her, you would probably lose all bodily functions and run, or just probably just lay down and die.
Oh,
It is so creepy, and there's someone I'm not going to mention on the show that she kind of reminds me of. In fact, like if you put makeup on, I'm not saying that psycho reminded me of this person. If you put the makeup on her, it would kind of, I think it would look like her. I'll tell you that offline.
do
too.
I know this person?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you know who she is. I mean, I don't know how well you know her, but you know her.
Oh, you know.
As soon as I say, you'll be like, oh, I know that.
Yeah. Okay.
So, let's see here. What's next? I'm trying to. What? new
Gavin,
porn?
you've got no one cocked and locked.
I don't know if I have one cocked and locked, but I really wish, at least like, I would like to get a movie made about like Stephen King's, like his, because a lot of his horror stuff is like kind of interdimensional. And the only real movie that we got on that was The Dark Tower.
The books. I've read the book. The books are great.
And
That
that's
movie
what
is
I
garbage.
that's what I've heard. The movie was nothing like what it should have been in the books, but like we don't really get any of the lore outside of that because there's like supposed to be like this giant turtle that's like the Redeemer. He's like the anti-it. It is supposed to be like the darkest version of whatever is supposed to be that negative energy.
The turtle's the good.
Yeah,
version.
he's the good version, and then it's basically the light and the dark.
Yeah.
They're the two opposing forces.
Yeah, 'cause he does tie him in with some of his other movies. Like he'll make reference of them.
Yeah,
Like there'll be
yeah.
a reference of a turtle or something along those lines, or Pennywise.
But you
or-
never really see him, yeah.
No, you never see him. But I can't remember which movies, but there's a couple other movies that he's done that it's been they put those little Easter eggs in there.
Well, like last week when we were talking about in the tall grass, the Christine car was in the church
Yeah.
parking lot.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I would actually like to see, and this isn't a spin-off of any other movie, but what I would like to see is actually a movie about Stephen King creating this stuff.
Oh.
Like maybe add to it a little bit of like The Shining or something where he actually goes into these psychotic breaks to create these stories.
I was thinking you just had a massive amount of LSD on hand.
Or that, whatever. But like finding like the story that makes the guy write the stories.
Yeah. Kind of like the Tolkien story.
Yeah.
Where, he's in World War One, going out there battling and he sees this one guy in a mask that's basically what he creates Sauron off of.
Yeah.
Coming through the mist. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Where he ends up it starts as a kid and he has a very creepy clown
Yeah.
that shows up.
Well, a lot of those guys have those experiences. That's what like Wes Craven came up with. There used to be an old man when he was younger at his house that would walk up and down their street with a fedora and a sweater. And maybe not those colors, but a sweater, and he would just stand like in the street and just stare in people's windows. And he said he was real old looking, so he was very wrinkly, but not burned, but he just looked
Right.
very eerie and creepy. So that's where he got the idea of this man. The name came from a kid that he was bullied from in school. He got the name Fred Krueger. Was his bully? So he named him after that. And then he read all those stories about those people in California that were like from Somalia or one of those third world countries that were actually dying in their sleep, getting killed by like these night terrors. So he kind of put all this together. Hello. Yep.
Okay. Good. I don't need to watch it.
You got to see her in motion. It's way better. just to see. It's nothing happens. She doesn't do anything.
It brings
You'll
her
be
to
fine.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes her real.
So I would like to see a movie like that. Just call it King.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
That's it. And then it was just like you said. Maybe starts out from when he's a kid. maybe add in a little bit. Maybe he has a little bit of mental thing where he like has hallucinations.
I
Maybe a
was gonna say like
medication or
maybe his pet, his very first pet was a turtle.
Yep.
And they never die. They live longer than us half the time.
Yeah.
and like as he got like
And he
older in
starts
his-
talking to him. Yeah.
and as he gets older, he has like an infatuation with spiders.
That's what Pennywise turns into.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Don't look into the light. But you could do all sorts of stuff like that, and like he goes on vacation with his parents at this eerie hotel, maybe in the mountains, this big thing, and he hears stories that it's haunted, and then like basically connect everything to whatever. Maybe the car they're driving is a car from Christine, like that's the family
Yeah.
car or something that they're driving around.
Wait,
in.
didn't he also do Cujo?
We did Cujo. He had a dog that got rabies
Yeah.
and he almost died.
And
Got
almost ate
attacked.
his face.
Like literally, you could tie all these little situations into stuff that could have happened to a kid.
It's true.
Call it King.
Steven?
Call us Hollywood cowards.
Steven, we have an idea.
He's like, you know what? That's fine. Just you guys write it up.
He's like, yeah,
Random
you know
stuff.
what? You guys go ahead. I'm done.
Here's my notes. Here's what I used to do. Here's where I used to hang out. Here's the people I knew.
I can neither
Go.
confirm nor deny the events that have happened in this movie.
He swallows an LSD tab or puts it underneath his tongue.
Well, like one night he's riding around with his friends like on bikes when they were kids, and a massive fog comes through the air and they get lost in it.
Yeah.
I'm just
For 3 days.
Yeah.
Does he have a childhood best friend that gets run over by a train?
he could.
Did he go to prison and have to escape in a tunnel?
I don't
of
think
shit?
he did at that point, but maybe his father did. Maybe his father was wrongly accused of a of a crime and then came back and he tells him the story. How'd this happen? Well,
I crawled through a mile of shit.
yeah, basically.
Came out clean on the other side.
Hey Andy, you ready to go?
Old Andy.
Yeah, you could make a good movie out of that. I would love to see a movie about that, about Stephen King younger to even stop it at like maybe even college or high school.
Yeah.
But leading up to him becoming this. And you could even cut from there to the end where he's like in his office, he's got all the posters of, his books and stuff
Yeah.
that he's done, and it's basically just seen everything that happened in his life. That's my vote.
I like it.
Yeah. Fun fact, do you know he has a pen name that he just likes to write just to make sure that he knows still how to write and he's just not getting published because his name is Stephen King?
I don't know what it is.
I used to. I could look it up, but I just thought that was
We have
always
this
cool.
magic rectangle
Right?
that tells us things.
Fantastic rectangles. Oh, I'm trying to think. What would be another good one that's because I immediately go to 80s.
Richard Bachman.
Richard Bachman. Okay.
Box man.
Well, it's B-A-C-H.
I figured.
I don't know, man.
What if you take Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield
Yeah.
and it becomes kind of like it turns into this whole like underground cult thing, like a college cult type deal, kind of like the Skulls, but only actually make it more religious and
Yeah.
demonic.
And does Rodney Dangerfield wind up becoming the leader of the cult?
No, he's
Yeah, he's the sacrifice.
Yeah.
Because his son wants to get in. And
Yeah. Yeah, so they have to bring him back. Dad, you never finished school. Why don't you come on by? Well, have a couple parties with us.
Meet my friends. We hang out in this basement. Don't worry about the large drain that's covered in red
Yeah.
liquid
Yeah.
in the middle.
he's all tied down. I never get no respect. No respect.
Even in death, I get no respect.
You remind me of my ex-wife.
She killed me too.
She took everything, literally.
Oh
Rodney
man,
Dangerfield.
I would love to see Back to the School turned into a cult.
Yeah, that would be really good.
Hey, wasn't that like Jennifer's Body or something like that?
No. So Jennifer's Body was a band that, so they thought that they were sacrificing a virgin, and she was not a
It
virgin.
was Megan Fox, wasn't it?
Even in her words, I'm not even a backdoor virgin. So like they they take her out, and she thinks that they're gonna basically rape her. So thankfully they didn't, but
Having said that,
having said that, they stab her and like do some kind of demonic ritual. They're basically doing it so that they can get a record deal.
Oh.
And what happens is they cause a fire in this restaurant, and several people get killed, and it kind of pumps them up to stardom. And so then they do like a some kind of concert to the victims of whatever fire, and that's like them launching their career and their record deal. But the knife that they end up killing her with, they throw into this, like they call it like the devil's asshole or something, because it's like a
Oh, that was
whirlpool.
the wormhole in Thor Ragnarok.
Well, no, I think it's something with the devil, of this, because there's like it's like a
A pentagram.
no, it's a hole that's or a sinkhole that's in this river that no one knows where it goes to. Like people have been putting stuff down it for years, but it never like spits back out. Well, they send her down there. They put her body in there, or no, that's where they just put the knife, right? Or does she go in there too?
I want to say the knife. It's been a while.
I know the knife goes in. I don't know if
Yeah.
she does. But that's like the sacrifice, but they sacrificed the wrong thing.
Oh.
And so when that happens, it kind of backfires. So she comes back as a vampire, succubus, whatever. Because it's not just really blood. Like she rips people open and then like sucks their blood out.
Yeah.
And then and then her and Amanda Siegfried, kind of have that little lesbian
Yeah.
scene.
There you go.
I like your reaction. Oh.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, I might actually watch it now.
So you're saying there's a reason to watch?
Yes.
Hands on the top of the table, Pat.
Yeah.
Everyone's up. Hey.
I am not a crook.
I wasn't able to look myself in the face when I did that.
But yeah, that's that was that's probably her last.
She was in Expendables 4.
Yeah, I know. She was also in This Is 40
Oh yeah.
Yes, she was.
and Jonah Hex.
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eh.
It's like watching Cowboys and Aliens. You really want it to be good, but it's just garbage.
Yeah. This is just disgusting.
I want to like this, but I can't.
I can't.
Can't even fake it until I make it.
Not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
Well, it looks like we got a few minutes left. So, do you have any last-minute thoughts on a movie you want to transform into the evil, horrific
No, I don't.
darkness?
Every time I go to think of something, I was like, well, they already did that in that movie. No, they did that in that movie. I would just be derivative.
The Muppets Christmas Massacre.
Nothing but fluff everywhere.
Yes, indeed. Stuffing everywhere. Not the same Elm Street that you knew.
No.
I'm unfortunately old enough to know what he's referencing, and it bothers me.
Well, on that note, then,
This is I, the Crypt Keeper.
and that's all the time we have for
Look
this
at the time,
episode.
folks.
Yeah. I gotta feed the dog, milk the cow. We got
Still got some homework to
yeah.
do.
But no, thank you guys so much for joining. That was a little fun episode there.
Yeah.
Gavin, good idea, man. Of
You
switching
get the old
movies to horror.
creativity wheels turning a little bit.
Using the old noggin.
You ain't used your brain in years, son.
I don't like to do that.
Yeah, I know. We all know. But we do thank you guys for joining us in talking movies that we would turn into horror movies.
And how we would do it.
And how we would do it.
And if you have any other suggestions for us out there, please send us an email.
at talk to us at movietalksandchill.com. And also Mr. King, Steven, I hope I can call you that by now.
Yes.
We would like
We're
to
basically
write,
best friends.
I would like to write the movie King for you. So we need to get
I was
together.
in Massachusetts last year, so we were only about 200 miles away from each other.
But
We're basically neighbors.
But keep sticking with us in the weeks to come because now basically we got the holidays coming up now. we're basically in holiday season. We're ramping into Thanksgiving in a few weeks, and then Christmas a month after that. So
And then a couple of months after that, Film Festival 2025.
Yep. So we got a lot going on here. So stick with us, guys, every week. But until next week for Movie Talks and Chill, we are your hosts. I am Tony Serrato.
I'm Kevin Butts.
I'm Patrick Wall. Did you forget your name?
I did. I did. I was like, wait. Do something clever? No. Just.
All right, guys. Take care.